everyone, welcome to my Shoreline studio. I'm Sybil Muschik, behind the camera is Joshua Blanc. Today we're continuing on with our gold, well, it's actually metal leaf. I don't think I can afford the gold one, but anyway, trying a bunch of different colors, different ways of working, and I have some forsythia blooming in my garden, and for the first time in about 5 years that I planted it. Last year it had 2 or 3 little blooms, and this year it's just covered, so just want to honor that bit of magnificence, the spring magnificence. So I have it in here. I just did it with Posca pen. And then we have the leaves are just coming out, particularly the poplars or aspens. Last time when we worked with the gold leaf, it was sort of hit and miss, which is okay. It has its own vibe. But this time I wanted to see if we could cover it a little bit more extensively. And then I finished it off with some Posca pen work. So it's quite dramatic because I'll put it here for the camera and you can see the shine and the glimmer of it. And then I was working with quite a lurid color. This is Nova Color Fluorescent Magenta. This is fun stuff. You've got to try it. Anyway, so let's get going. Let's see what we can do today with gold. So here's a company that makes the metal leaf. Well, most art supply stores will have this and the the things that you need for it. Then it comes in between these little tissues, and I put it on a little craft foam piece just to make it work a little bit better. The real gold leafers use a leather, like a little pocket kind of thing, and then probably tweezers and whatever have you. So we're not that fancy, but we'll do what we can. And then it does get all over the place, so I keep a little bit of, I just sort of get it off from my light table here and try and manage it a little bit better. And then you can reuse these little pieces. Whoops. So you see it does get all over the place. So thankfully the particles are reasonably big and you're not breathing them, so it's all to the good. I have my oriental paper registered on my 8x10 gel plate. I have a bunch of colors ready to go. And we'll just get this set. We're just going to start with a base, and I'm going to use some open acrylic medium just so the paint is a little less unwieldy. Amsterdam, well, I've got Liquitex too, but these do dry very quickly, so they're renowned for drying fast. Liquitex may be a little bit less so, but about the same. So we're going to start just with some, let's see here, Cad Red Deep. And I'm going to add a little bit of violet to it. We want this fairly dark, but not overwhelming. And we just mix her up here. That might be a bit much, but we'll see. We're sort of trying for a brownish tone because we're going to add some gold to this as well. Just some liquid stuff, craft. Comes out a nice burgundy color. But when you add yellow, of course, to it, you keep creating a neutral because This is the Folk Art Pure Gold Metallic. So it's going to change our color as if you were adding a bit of yellow. So you get kind of a burgundy brown tone with a bit of glimmer. Now I like to throw a bunch of little things in the background here. These are just sisal pieces of twine. Always good to add a little bit of interest in the background. And just let it sort of do its own thing here to some degree. Here's our forsythia, and aren't they beautiful? And see, the leaves don't come out until the forsythias finish blooming, so that's kind of interesting. So we can maybe add a few of these. We'll be drawing them later with the Posca pen because they're quite small and delicate, and they'll probably just stick. One more. I picked some poplar or aspen. In the wind, the aspen turn and they have the silvery sheen on the other side. This is poplar, but it does sort of flash as well. So we'll put some of this down. We're only going to get, you know, some whites for this. And we just add a few little leaves here and there. Okay, so our first paper we're going to use is just the copy paper. We're just going to try and get as much of the paint off as possible, leaving that gold tone behind. Now you can rub along the margins here of the stems and the leaves just to get most of the, not so important to get everything. You're basically just creating a nice, interesting background. And we'll be printing both the oriental and this paper as well. So we have quite a nice start. Now put this aside. And then you lift everything off carefully. We'll get Josh to put on an interesting interlude while I pick at this stuff. All right, so placing the oriental paper on what's being left behind. And you can use your baren if you have one, or your hands, you know, just this oriental paper came with quite a few foldings, so I'll try and get rid of most of that. Right. Okay, so let's have a look at this first layer. And you can see the glimmer a little bit out of the gold we put in there and some of the shapes, so very interesting background. We're just going to leave that. We're not going to clean it or anything. It's all good. So our next layer is yellow. So just a little bit again. Let's add some of the medium, just a titch. And I had some of that brown on the knife. And we'll just brighten that up a little bit more. Another fuzzle. Josh is killing himself laughing over there. Well, there's nothing wrong with fuzzles. They can, you know, get credit too for whatever they do. Usually being a nuisance. It's like gremlins. And let's roll it out. Okay. I think I better shore up that plate. So I've got to shore up my plate. I should have done that ahead of time, but you know, hindsight and all that. And you'd think I'd learn after all these sessions. Oh well, not a problem. Right, let's so now we go back to this one. Still quite wet, actually. I'm not going to worry so much about registration on this one. We can, when I'm ready to show you, it helps to just crop the edges. That just looks nice, and you can see, you know, what it should look like. And we'll do that close to the end. Okay. So now we have some nice yellow on here. I'm just going to redo that a little bit because we have to put our leaves back. Okay. And so some of the edges can go off. A few more leaves. Just here and there. Some of our, not so many this time, just a few here and here. You know, and you can arrange them however you like. Like they're fresh and growing. These are just barely out. All right, let's put that in place. It doesn't matter how many times you do these gel plate prints, you know, you can never really repeat anything. Which is why they're called monotypes. They're one of a kind. You can get close if you use like a stencil or something, then they're called monoprints. All right, so this is our second level. And We have a nice yellow layer, that's good. And some of that lovely background with details. You can't really beat Botanicals for this kind of stuff. And again, just picking all these things off. And we're going to just replace this and just do a very light layer. You just want to pick up a little bit of that yellow on the leaves, not much. Have a look. Yes, just a tiny bit. And it does give a bit of an intaglio effect, you can see, which is very interesting. Right, our last layer here is a really bright spring green. And again, just in case, let's mix that. And we need to work this into that next level. So for this one, hopefully we're going to have this layer as the last one. If not, we're going to use white. Now our leaves should be evident. Now then, we have to brighten that up. This is a very opaque white. Again, it's a Amsterdam brand. I have several, but that seems to work really well. And definitely you want to add some, because it's very, very opaque. Okay, and this time we're just going to put the leaves back. Whatever nice configuration you like. This is a bit fussy, so we can fast forward and roar through it. But you, of course, at home, if you're doing this with me, will take your time and you will consider composition, right? Placement, very important. Make it beautiful. And give it some movement. I've put it at an angle. Angles, as we've mentioned many times before, give you movement and direction. So you sort of tell where the wind is coming from. Maybe there's a really fierce gale and some of the leaves are being, taken off the trees already. We did have that actually a day or so ago, and felt bitterly cold too. Now get these down, use a painting knife or a palette knife to really get these down. Okay, so I'm just using my hands for this because you need to get into those grooves and sort of burnish with your hand all the little leaves where they're placed. And the stems, of course, which is nice with your oriental paper. That really works really well. The other papers like bond paper or say using drawing paper, well, that will give you a little bit more grief. Okay, so we can have this come up. So that's looking very spectacular. Use this one. I'm just lining it up with the top and hopefully that's reasonably registered. Throwing my baron around as usual. Other side of the table. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have the aspen effect. So we're going to leave these white ones and we're going to put gold on the other ones. And it should be pretty dramatic. And our background turned out quite nice. It's busy, but it's not overwhelming. All right. Okay, this one's done. We're going to just take that off. And then we'll play with the other one. We're going to, I decided in spite of everything, it's a lovely print, but it can use some contrast. So we're going to use our really lurid fluorescent pink. And we'll show them at the end of the video and a couple others that I showed earlier. Right, okay, so we're going to use our violet. Now, I got this open yesterday and it's seized up on me again. Okay, we're good. I was just about ready to call Josh in here. Okay, a little bit. A little goes a long way with this stuff. I'm not sure I really care for these kind of containers. They do seize up and they will dry up much more quickly than a tube. Nova color is a really good professional color, and it's not, I wouldn't even say reasonable, because all paints are just through the roof right now, and it's annoying, and that's why paintings cost so much, people. Fine artists are often in the business of having their own brush brands and their own paint brands. They just use a regular kind of brand and then put their name on it, and then it sells better for the company if you're a well-known artist. So it always helps. So here we go with our leaves again. I don't think we need all these guys. There's enough detail in there already. We really want the leaves to stand out in this case. And again, you really want the outline. So this will be acting as a mask, so we're going to have that really violent. But somehow it works. It's amazing. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to register this, because I want to take the leaves off and then get a little bit of that violet. as well. Okay, now I don't know if you can see much of this right now.
Not really.
Okay, so we're taking these leaves off. No, again, very, very light. You just want some details, like the middle stems and all that. There you go. I mean, we could do a ghost print too, which might as well, which could be a third piece, but off camera, not today. So always look out for possibilities. And it's quite a nice piece in its own right. And then you could just maybe layer the leaves again with a different color, and some of that will show up in the background. It's all good. Right, okay, so now we have this piece. And see, with all the yellows underneath and a bit of gold and a bit of green, that's really got this to simmer down a bit. So that's quite nice. So we're going to select which leaves we're going to put gold on. So I will show you, but I think we have to wait for this to dry before we can put the sizing on. So Josh will do his usual with a bit of music. And we'll be right back. Okay, so I have my size here. This is designer size, gold leaf, Lador, again, is a brand. I have a little liner brush. Sometimes something like this, it's almost like rubber cement. You can add a little tiny bit of detergent to the brush and let it dry in it. And then it's not so hard to get the stuff out. So now we have to decide which leaves we're going to leave and which ones we're going to gold leaf. So I think we should leave this one, and maybe this one, and gold leaf the rest. So we're going to start with this one. So I'm going to add a little bit more than usual. Last time we did this, it really didn't make the gold stick very well. And I'm not sure why. So we're going to add, and then you just let it dry about 15-20 minutes. Some types of size, you have to let it dry overnight. Just follow your directions. Let's do this one. Try not to have too many brush strokes, that's where it gives you trouble. So put enough on so that it sort of flows. I'm twirling my brush so that I have a nicer end to it. Right, let's do this one up here. If you put enough on, it will level, and then no brush strokes, and then the gold will stick evenly. If we did this one, it sort of drags your eye out of the picture plane, so we won't do that. I think we're almost done here. You can see where the gaps are once it's drying. Cleanup, and we'll see you shortly because we got to let this dry. It takes about 20 minutes. Clean your brushes right away and any tools, and then we'll add the gold leaf, and then we're done. So I have my gold leaf on top of the craft foam, and now you can see that it's sort of shiny from the the gold leaf size, and we will just start placing it. See, it holds pretty good onto the craft foam sheet, and then I just gently place it down and lift it up. And it's sticking pretty good. Okay, this one. This one. It's easy to see the size because it's shiny. And you can use your finger to burnish it down. So once you have pretty well covered it, now what I do is I just take a wooden spoon and then I burnish it some more. You can do it directly, but you see that it's much better this way. And then you just take a brush and keep your little extra handy to put the gold leaf in. It will get all over the place, so it's very staticky. Then wherever there is no glue, the gold will come up. And if you have a little extra on something, even though you had the sizing on it, you can just scrape it off, fingernail or whatever. If you find that some things sizing didn't take, or you can put more on. Wait your 15 minutes and then shore it up. And then you just sweep it into your, there you go. Just like housework. Sweeping it under the rack. I'm sweeping it in the container anyway. And here's what I mean by it's sticking to something that shouldn't have been there. So you can just use a fingernail and scrape it back and it'll come off. So this is it where you're filling a whole area in. And then you can embellish from there. Now the final little touch is I just add a little bit of detail. And take a damp Kleenex or something and just wipe the top so you get any excess gold. You just add some veins. And you could make it a little bit more dimensional as well by curving your lines. Just flick. Just gives it that final touch, and these ones should have some veining. Just some quick strokes. And here. Okay, so that's it for that one. So we're going to put a few forsythia flowers here in the ghost print. There really wasn't an opportunity in the other two pieces, but this one's perfect. So basically they're like little star shapes, but the points are a little bit more rounded. So we'll just put a few. Making them just a little bit bigger. And then it has a little center. And then we just fill it in. And with some matte medium, we'll be able to print that. So just here and there. We could give a little centers a little bit of a shade. Right. Now you've noticed I've put it upside down so that it prints the right way when we do it. We need some matte medium, and this is Nova Color matte medium. Just let this dry quickly. Okay, let's put our matte medium on, the dried forsythia. This to the bottom and the sides. Yes, that's better. Okay. delaminated the paper here on the side. I don't know why, but anyway. So I like it. Wow. Because the Nova color is so lurid, the yellow Posca pen is actually pushed back a bit, and the forsythia's in the background like little yellow stars. So there you go. That works. So 3 pieces to the good today. All right. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit your little bell. We're doing pretty good, and have some news coming up, but we're not quite ready to share that yet. And take care of yourselves and your families. Be kind to one another. Bye for now.